This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to ER Vet on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Justine Lee, and I'm an emergency critical care veterinary specialist and a toxicologist. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to be talking about feline acne. So if you have a cat and you've ever had acne before, which all of us have had in our teenage years, then you want to tune in. You especially want to tune in if you're feeding from a stainless steel bowl. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There is no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to ER Vet on Pet Life Radio. Really excited to talk to you about feline acne. And you're probably wondering, what? Can cats get zits? Yes, you've heard me right. Cats can get acne. And what can you do about it? Well, believe it or not, feline acne can happen to any aged cat. And I will say, most of the time when I see it, it's usually around 1 year of age. It can be totally sporadic. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. So no, your cat doesn't officially have to be a teenager before they get acne. Now, acne is a little bit hard to see, and I always joke that I call feline acne catney. But when cats get acne, you do actually want to treat it, and it's because it is a medical problem. But unlike teenagers, feline acne isn't linked to hormones. It's from having too much something called sebum, which is almost like this oily substance, and it's actually plugging the hair follicles, most commonly under the chin. And this can result in a secondary infection. Now, again, this isn't usually on the cheeks or the forehead, the way you think of with a teenager who has acne. It's not typically on the whole face. Cats typically get feline acne just under the jaw and around the lips. And thankfully, I hardly ever see feline acne in the veterinary ER, but general practitioners or family practitioners do see it more frequently because this is something that's super mild. Again, you do not need to go to the veterinary ER just because you notice that your cat has feline acne. However, it does need to be treated. Now, thankfully, most cases are pretty mild, but untreated, it can be really uncomfortable for your cat, and it can be really painful too. So let's step back again. Why do cats get acne? Again, it's the fancy word for it is called follicular keratinization, and it's where they're producing too much of the protein found on the outer layer of the skin. And when this happens, guess what? It's basically blackheads that start to form. Then they get these pimples. Then they get this inflammation of the hair follicles. And again, that can get a secondary infection. Now, we don't even know why cats will get this. Sometimes it may be from stress. Sometimes it's from cats not grooming well. Maybe it's due to allergies or a viral infection, or if your cat's immunosuppressed. But there hasn't been a really good link of what causes feline acne. What there is an association between feeding out of plastic food bowls versus stainless steel versus ceramic. So there is an association between feline acne and plastic food bowls. Now, I will say I'm not a huge fan of feeding from plastic, whether or not you're a human or a 2- or 4-legged member. And the reason why is because plastic oftentimes, like when you wash it or scrub it, it can develop these micro scratches in the plastic. And maybe that predisposes your cat or us to bacterial contamination. So, regardless of what the different hypotheses are for why cats get feline acne, keep in mind we do want to treat it. So, first of all, how do you recognize the signs of feline acne? It's not quite as obvious as it is in your teenager because, again, cats have fur. So, what are you going to look for? First of all, you're going to look for under your cat's chin. There's sort of that V-shaped area where your cat's chin narrows down. And this is under the jaw. Whenever I see this, I always like to put my 2 fingers and feel under the chin because we're feeling for bumps under the skin or even a swollen chin. Sometimes you'll notice that your cat is rubbing their face on a sofa and leaving bloody streaks. That's abnormal. Okay, so you definitely want to take a look there. So again, a swollen chin, any kind of pain when your cat is being touched in the face or chin area. You may notice some excessive head rubbing because it's uncomfortable, or again, that bloody tinged fluid that's being left behind on furniture or bedding or the side of your sofa. You may notice a really bad smell, and that usually means there's a secondary infection. Maybe your cat is grooming a lot, and oftentimes what you'll see is your cat's licking their front legs and actually wiping it under their chin. That's the best way they're going to clean their under their chin area. Again, those classic bumps or that itchiness. So, now that you know what feline acne looks like, remember, you want to look at it carefully. You do not want to pick it. Now, I will disclose, I could never be a veterinary dermatologist. Despite all the gory TV shows out there about popping pimples, I am not a popper. I don't like to pop things. I don't like to, pop acne. I don't like to do it on myself. I don't like to do it in animals either. And I will say, if you see it, please don't pick your cat's acne. Okay, we don't want to do that. And you don't want to pop those blackheads because those follicles are probably inflamed and you're making them more inflamed by squeezing them. And they're also super painful. And your cat doesn't understand why you're doing something painful to them. So, when in doubt, if you notice the signs of chin acne or feline acne, get to a vet. Do some research or use telemedicine or telehealth. You can even take a picture of it and send it to your veterinarian, but please don't pop it. All right. So, how do we diagnose feline acne? Now, there are a couple other medical problems that can look like feline acne. In older cats, sometimes we can see the rare type of cancer that can look similar. Sometimes it may be a different type of mass or tumor. Sometimes it could be an immune problem where your cat's immune system may be attacking itself. Sometimes it's a skin infection or even a fungal infection. In really severe cases, it can even be a dental problem where there's an infected tooth root and it can actually cause similar looking lesions like a tooth root abscess. So in really severe cases, your vet may need to do some blood work or urine tests or even x-rays or skin cultures or skin cytologies or even take a piece of tissue from it. So when in doubt, if it's not going away or you're not sure, your cat's not responding, you do want to go to a veterinarian to get it worked up. Because again, most of the time, you can't actually treat feline acne at home. So we'll talk about treatment in just a few minutes. But what have we talked about again so far? Remember, cats can get acne and it's not typically related to hormones. We'll talk about what we can do to prevent it. Hint, hint, in case you don't tune in, it's not feeding out of plastic water bowls, okay? You want to make sure you check your cat and make sure they don't have any of those bumps or weird smell or discharge coming from the bottom of their chin. All right, so what can we do about it? Well, first of all, when it comes to feline acne, there are a few things you can do to treat feline acne at home. The first few that I'll talk about are feeding from a ceramic food bowl or stainless steel bowl instead of a plastic water bowl or a plastic food bowl. Why is this going to help? Again, there is an association with cats developing feline acne from plastic bowls. As soon as you remove that plastic water bowl or food bowl, it can help resolve that feline acne immediately. So again, I'm always a huge advocate of getting a big enough bowl where it's not going to let your cat's whiskers touch both sides of the circumference of the bowl. Okay, pick a nice ceramic one or a nice stainless steel one. And please make sure to wash this out at least once a day or every other day. And that includes your water bowls. I'm a big believer in making sure that pets always have fresh water. So I always wash the water bowl at least once or twice a week, and I fill it up with filtered water. We always want to do whatever we can to enhance your pet drinking appropriately clean water. All right, what's the next thing you can do? Well, you can gently wash your cat's chin to remove some of the scabs. Now, this will also help remove some of that sebum or that oil that forms on the skin. I generally try to do this 2 to 3 times a day for a couple of days. Again, please don't physically pick at the scabs, okay? You can gently wipe it away. There are a lot of different types of almost like cotton pads that you can use. You can use them to like exfoliate your own skin. These are usually found by cotton balls. I don't usually use cotton balls. I use these pads. And again, this will help the scabs naturally fall off. So I like to gently clean the area. Now, when it comes to cleaning, you don't want to use anything with alcohol. Remember during COVID when you were hand sanitizing, hopefully, and you have a micro cut on your hand and you realize how painful it is, please do not use anything that contains alcohol when cleaning that area. There's a lot of inflammation and it's going to hurt. So what I like to do is I like to use witch hazel. I will use witch hazel to gently blot away and wash that chin area to remove the scabs. So I'll gently wipe it. I'll blot the acne gently once or twice a day. Try to do this for 5 to 7 days in a row. If it does not improve, then you need to get to a veterinarian. Okay. The second thing is you can actually use topical Stridex. Remember those old Stridex pads that you used to use when you had teenager acne? Well, guess what? They work on feline acne also. So when using Stridex pads, you can actually do the same thing. So again, don't rip off those scabs. Don't pick those scabs. Just gently 1 to 2 to 3 times a day, use a Stridex pad or a pad that you use with witch hazel to gently blot that area. We'll continue with this really important topic right after these messages from our sponsors.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. cattreetray.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to ER Vet on Pet Life Radio. We've been talking about feline acne. I know, it's not the prettiest, sexiest topic, but cats get them, and so do our teenagers. What we've been talking about is how cats can occasionally get feline acne. And if you're not petting your cat or examining your cat, you may miss the clinical signs. So what are some of the clinical signs? Again, you're going to notice any kind of bumps or swelling underneath your cat's chin. You may notice some blackheads, some brown or black discharge, or even blood-tinged fluid in that area. You may notice a terrible smell. That's usually because there's a secondary fungal or bacterial infection. Your cat may be excessively grooming that area. And again, most of the time, I don't want to see you in the veterinary ER for feline acne. Okay. This is one of the problems that you can actually treat at home. And we talked about some of the treatment. That's going to include stop using plastic water bowls, stop using plastic food bowls, and again, use ceramic food bowls or stainless steel bowls. We talked about getting those circular, they're usually about 1.5 to 2-inch circular pads that you can use to like take off makeup at a grocery store. You can use that and just wet it down with either warm water or even witch hazel. Remember, please do not use alcohol. Don't use anything else except for the one that I like, which are Stridex acne pads. You can gently blot that area once or twice a day. Do that consistently for a week. If it doesn't improve, you need to get to a vet. So, what is your veterinarian going to do? First of all, your veterinarian is going to make sure it's not something more serious going on, like a tooth root abscess or rare cancer or something else going on. If they examine your cat and your cat isn't responding to a lot of the things that you can try at home, then they may actually prescribe you an antifungal. Now, keep in mind, you do not want to start antifungals unless your cat actually has a fungal infection because it can cause other problems. Okay. So when in doubt, you may get a prescription from your vet for an antifungal. Now, if you've ever had jock itch or ringworm or any kind of fungal infection, you'll notice that most antifungal medications end with a ZOLE, Z-O-L-E. So drugs like miconazole. Okay. And that's because in the infected, moist area underneath the chin where the feline acne is, your cat can develop a secondary yeast or fungal infection. Okay. So when in doubt, you may need a prescription for an antifungal. Now, if you look at some websites, they'll say, oh, you can do Epsom salt soaks. No, you can't do that. Your cat is not going to tolerate having his chin stuck in an Epsom salt soak. So again, I really prefer the Stridex pads or using witch hazel. Those work really well. Now, the one thing I did want you to avoid, please do not put essential oils in this area. Yes, you heard me correctly. No tea tree oil, no essential oils in this area. The main reason why is because as a toxicologist, I can rarely see severe, even fatalities or poisonings from tea tree oil. There's actually a report in the veterinary literature of a pet that died after getting as little as 7 to 9 drops of a concentrated tea tree oil. Now, please keep in mind, I said concentrated. That means like almost 100% tea tree. Okay, that's super concentrated. Now, if you guys have listened to my episodes of ER Vet before, you probably have heard me talk about how cats are different. Of course, they're different. We love them because they're different, but their liver is different. So cats cannot metabolize certain drugs well because they have something fancy called altered glucuronidation in their liver. That just means their liver can't metabolize certain chemicals or drugs well. Now, keep in mind, because of that altered glucuronidation where their liver can't metabolize things, cats are super, super sensitive to certain products, especially essential oils. So please do not use any essential oils on your cat's feline acne. Yes, you can use Stridex. Yes, you can use witch hazel. Totally safe. Please do not use alcohol. Please do not use essential oils in that area either, because that can really cause other problems. So again, something like benzoyl peroxide facial preparation sometimes can be used. Sometimes anti-seborrheic shampoos can be used to sort of flush out those hair follicles. But if it's really severe, your veterinarian may prescribe an antifungal or even an antibiotic ointment. One of the most common antibiotic ointments that are often prescribed for feline acne is something called mupirocin. It often goes by the brand name Murocin. This is usually highly effective, but you don't want to do it without talking to your veterinarian first. Another thing that you can request that your vet does if you bring your cat into the vet clinic for an exam is to help clip that area. By using clippers in the veterinary clinic, they can help keep that hair clip short, and that lets more air exposure, preventing that secondary moisture accumulation and that secondary bacterial or fungal infection. In severe cases, sometimes we'll give oral antibiotics or rarely even oral steroids. The good thing about feline acne is it's totally treatable, okay? Rarely will there be a really stubborn case that requires more aggressive care, but thankfully, this is one disease where I'm totally fine with you cat owners treating it at home. There's a great video that you can find that I created on YouTube under Dr. Justine Lee on feline acne, so you can check that out too. But when in doubt, something as simple as changing your cat's bowls from plastic to ceramic or stainless steel, to keeping a close eye on it, to wiping it gently with witch hazel and not picking at any of those scabs or using Stridex pads as a way of helping break up those scabs can really, really help. When in doubt, if your cat has feline acne, don't stress out about it. Super easy to treat, but if it's not responding, check with your veterinarian. Well, that brings me to the end of today's show. Find me at drjustinelee.com, on Facebook or Instagram at Dr. Justine Lee, or email me your pet questions at drjustine@petliferadio.com. With that, we're out of time, and we want to thank Mark Winter, our producer, for making this show possible. See you at the next episode.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.